Hey everyone, thank you for listening to another episode of Spoiler Force Podcast. You can find more episodes on any podcasting platform such as Apple Podcast, Spotify, Amazon, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and make sure to follow Spoiler Force Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. Hey everyone, this is Ricky with Spoiler Force Podcast. I'm with Veronica Taylor.
Hi, we're here at Michigan Comic Con, and it's awfully nice to meet you, Ricky.
You
and
too.
I just want to say from myself and Ash Ketchum, Spoiler Force Podcast, I choose you!
This is a FlowGasm Beats production.
All right, so this is episode 84 of Spoiler Force Podcast. My name is Ricky, and thank you for tuning in. Honestly, I don't know when this episode is going to drop. I'm just recording now just to have episodes saved up in case I take another break in March or even possibly April. Now, for those of you who've been following and watching and listening to the Spoiler Force Podcast, I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart, for showing continuous support through these times that I've been going through. And I also want to say, congratulations to the winners of the last contest I did today, February 27th. Yeah, National Pokemon Day too. Happy Pokemon Day. The winners all the winners finally got their prizes. I know it took some time, but again, congrats to Alex Her, James from You So Funny J, and also more lore for winning. Congrats to you guys, and hopefully I can try to do another contest too, but I don't know when exactly, but definitely let me know what you guys are into. I can try to find more Funko Pops, comic books, and stuff like that for the next contest. But anyways, besides all of that, today's episode, as you can see, the topic is Demon Slayer again for a review. Continuity wise, I wanted the previous guest I talked about this with my cousin Lemon Dome, but we weren't able to get a timing schedule or anything of that on time or to match up. So I got my cousin Moang Her again. Let me just bring him in here. What's up, Moang? Thank you for doing this. So Moang and I have read the manga for Demon Slayer. We're just going to be talking about that and some other anime manga related topics too. And in the future, we'll be talking about Rent a Girlfriend. If you follow the Spoiler Force podcast page, you'll see that I've been sharing things like, Rent a Girlfriend and the Peggies. I've been obsessing over the Peggies all freaking week. We just pull up there. The Peggies, bam, right there. There you go. You can see the Peggies there. And again. I've been obsessing with their music. But yeah, Monk, thank you for doing this, man. Are you on? Okay.
Yeah, I'm on. Yeah, no, I've been busy, but I've been I still been keeping. I reread the Rent a Girlfriend manga, and then because I was nagging you to read it because dude, it's good. It's for some reason reading them rom-com mangas are generally better than the anime, even though the anime is still good. But it's just that they're able to add more, and obviously it's almost like reading a chapter book because there's a lot of dialogue that it seems like you can't really get that in an anime, which makes sense. And then Demon Slayer, it's been a while, but I read it. I remember most of it.
Yeah, Demon Slayer. If you guys have not listened to the previous Demon Slayer episode or the one we did last year, I believe it's episode 22. It was me and my cousin Lee. We talked about season 1 anime and bits and pieces of the manga. It wasn't exactly a breakthrough. We just kept talking about characters we liked, what we enjoyed, parts. We theorized a little bit. When I went back to listen to that episode, I realized how much off I was on certain points. I thought that we kind of thought that Tanjiro's ancestor was related to the Yoriichi and some of the main Demon Slayers. And for me going back and rereading Demon Slayer again too, I caught a lot of details that I missed. Spoilers here. Yeah, so if you guys are listening up to here, spoiler warning right now. We're jumping straight to big pieces of this episode. So, yeah, like just reading the parts where I missed, like when the snake pillar Obanai, him being saved by the fire pillar, which I think it was Rengoku's dad that saved them. And then just seeing how Yurichi and his brother, how they both started the Demon Slayer Corps, like how Yurichi was teaching everyone breaths, and they all kind of just weren't perfecting the breath of the sun, so that's what created all the other styles. And then like just there was one part that me and Lee where we misread. We thought that one of our theories was that we thought that Nezuko and Tanjiro weren't siblings. There was one chapter where Muzan was like talking about he said like I'm gonna get you Ubuyashiki, who's the Demon Slayer core leader, and get Nezuko. And we kind of misread that there was a comma in that text, and we thought that was just like he was saying Ubuyashiki Nezuko, thinking that Nezuko was a part of Muzan's clan, and that threw us all off. Like we were thinking like, oh shit, Tanjiro and Nezuko, they're not siblings. After all, are they gonna fight? Is Nezuko gonna kill Muzan, who might be her dad? We had like all these wild theories, and we were just all off and crazy, like coming up with all these crazy endings. Like one of my endings, I really thought was gonna happen was the end fight where I thought Muzan was gonna fight, the main four, and like Genya and Kanao and maybe Tomioka, because these were like the last standing characters. But I was wrong. There was everyone else was fighting. So before we kind of dive more into the ending, what did you think, Moang, overall with the manga? I know we kind of talked about this in episode 82 a little bit too, but what did you think overall of the manga?
It was really fast paced. I think overall it was good. It's because like if you just solely focus on the action, I think they did it's crazy good. I mean, there's a lot of stakes, and you didn't know who's gonna live or die. I think that was one of the good the good points of the manga itself, because you really didn't after I forgot Kanao's teacher, after she died. I mean, it made sense why she died after that fight, but the thing
when Shinobu fought Doma,
yeah. And honestly, Doma's pretty OP. Like they're lucky that he died.
Yeah. I think, honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that he got poisoned, he would have easily killed everyone else.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's because they I think they purposely made him super OP because they're just gonna kill him anyways. Because you couldn't get near him or anything, because then he had he was like ice poison. You got hit once and you're just dead. And
yep. And then he made the clones too, and he could do all these crazy summoning type abilities. Mm-hmm. And he was just too strong, and me and Lee talked about too in that episode where that's where you got to see more of Inosuke's story, and man, that part still pulls my heartstrings. And
it's a good story. I mean, I don't think they revealed his dad because she was a prostitute, right?
I think the family that Inosuke had, apparently his dad was abusive, so his mom took off. Yeah, but just to see Inosuke's, I just can't believe it took that long to review Inosuke's story.
Well, that's just everything in general. Because the last two demon bosses, or three, it wasn't until the final infinity fortress battle until they kind of revealed everything. They kind of just threw it during the battle, like they do with a lot of sports animes. It's not bad. It's just that's like I said, it's very fast paced, because we know that it's not gonna happen. So then that's I guess some issues with the manga too. It's just that, this is the story in general. It's very fast, so that there's not a lot of payoff. In my opinion, I think Inosuke's story was kind of.
Was it underwhelming for you?
It was very underwhelming because I think it was good to the point where we learned about his past, which is good. But the thing is, he's really not that strong.
I liked that Inosuke's abilities. He had a lot of breath forms,
It was just unique. He dislocated his arm.
It was almost like helicopter sort of how he dislocated his arms and shoulders. That was cool.
Well, it doesn't make sense, but
yeah, because just him being so acrobatic, they just kind of made it already. Like, they pointed it out when you first meet him, like he's already like gifted and athletic
Yeah.
like that. So there wasn't much to really explain. It was just more about the story of him and his mom that
Yeah.
people wanted to see.
They didn't go any deeper into like the his breath, because his breath form is super unique. I think he's the only one that has like the boar or the wild form, whatever.
Yeah, like with like the sensitivity and stuff. Like, I know I kind of wish they touched up on that too. Like even with his backstory of him of him learning how to walk and talk,
Or like an
like how
upgrade.
yeah, like they kind of just made it seem like, oh, he was already like really gifted as a baby. You know how like in his early days, like how he learned how to talk from that farmer who kept cussing. You know,
Because
like
out of
so.
the four, he's definitely the weakest, in my opinion. Because Kanayo has that eye move, but obviously she can't use it a lot. But it's busted though. It's pretty busted.
Yeah.
And that dude is just busted in general. Like
If he wasn't such a pussy, I think he'd be stronger than Tanjiro.
I think that's just how they story wise, they're just trying to like off balance his power. Like dude's OP. His normal self, he's just a little bitch.
And I like reading the comments where they're like, every kill that not Nezuko, but every kill that Zenitsu does, it's always a one shot. He never misses, and it's always a one shot kill.
I mean, he probably would have lost to his other the other student, the other demon guy, because he I think the reason why he won was because he hadn't fully grown to his powers yet, because he recently turned into a demon like a few years ago.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's because like his senior, he just turned, and then so I think because of that he wasn't able to fully adapt into his new body, like kind of like how when Frieza fought Goku and Vegeta, learned how to turn cold.
Frieza hadn't done that in forever.
Yeah, and then he comes back and just to get his ass whooped, but. Yeah, I mean, like even when Zenitsu learns creates that new form, the flaming dragon thunder god, that was pretty cool too. I can't wait till they animate that, dude. They better put like movie budget when they do that.
The entire final battle is gonna be lit. I think they'll probably do like 2 movies.
I hope so. Shit, I'd rather see that in a movie than like just episodes, man.
I don't know, though. I feel like the Fortress arc, they should do a season, because the issue with that is if they do a movie, they're gonna have to cut out so much shit.
Yeah, a lot of that's gonna have to be even more fast paced. Like like going back to what we've already talked about with the Infinity Train movie. Like a lot of the manga was based on more of like Tanjiro and his dreams, and they kind of got through that sequence pretty quickly in the movie.
Yeah, it was like the second half, and after they got over it, it was just straight up. Like the dream guy was pretty underwhelming.
Yeah, so like I think if they did that, it'd be similar to like how they did that if they made the last arc into a movie, or even like even if they did like a trilogy movie. There's a lot to cut out from.
I think what would make sense is if they did a full final season for the Fortress arc, and then the movie would be like a short recap of what happens in the final season, and then the entire movie is just fighting Muzan.
That'd be pretty dope. Like an hour and a half of just fighting Muzan.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know if we talked about this back on episode 82, but in the Infinity Train arc or Infinity Train movie, I didn't even know that. I had to go back and reread it. But Rengoku's third form that he does, that's actually a movie only technique. He doesn't even use a third form in the manga.
Yeah, I didn't.
So I'm thinking that maybe if they're adding like small tidbits like that in the movie, if they did that for like the final battle, I'm pretty sure they would be like adding even more techniques or different things.
Because I mean, the manga drawing, it's not bad, but it's not
great either. I think compared to Rent a Girlfriend,
it's not that good. It makes sense though, because a lot of the fighting is the anatomy that they use when they draw, it's very, very intricate, and it makes sense why they save a lot of time by not polishing it.
Yeah. Like a lot, and most of the time they're all derpy anyway. Like how like how they do like goofy scenes in the anime. That's basically how they look in the manga.
A lot of the manga, like a lot of the techniques, you have to really think about how it's happening too. Not that the drawing's bad, but it's like it's weird. It's not. It's just weird. The action, it's because there's a lot of action. I think the thing about the manga is like there's a good amount of dialogue too, but when they're fighting, the attention to detail when they're fighting, it's like they put a lot of effort into just the fight scenes in general.
And there's a lot that's going on when they're battling. Like even when you know, we're gonna talk about this too, but like even when like back to when they fought Upper Moon 6, you know, when Tengen and all of them are fighting in the on the buildings and stuff like that. Like there's a lot that's going on in that fight. So, you know, I mean that's just for manga though. So can you imagine when season 2 comes out and when they do the battles in animation form? Holy shit.
It's gonna be lit. Season 2, well, Red Light District, I think it's gonna be funny too, especially when we get to see the 3 dressed up as girls.
I know everyone's expecting that scene. I've seen like comments on Facebook. Everyone's posting pictures of like I can't wait till this gets animated. You know, like it's all them being girls.
Just from the trailer, it looks really good so far because a lot of it with the Upper Moon Demon, she has the cloth for weapons.
Yep.
So it looks like they're gonna put a lot of effort into.
Yeah, that and then like when I think especially when Upper Moon 6 fights. Excuse me, like especially them being siblings and when they combine and stuff like that. I think a lot of the animation is going to go towards them when they fight. You know, like you said, like with the sister having the sash or the cloth, how she can have people inside that, or like when the brother comes out and he has like the scythe. Man, that's going to be crazy too when he fights Tengen.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, dude, like you know, in the last review that again with Lee and I we didn't really touch bases on like stuff like that. You know, like we kind of just went over like what we liked, and we talked. I think the furthest we talked up to was when Upper Moon 1 was like where he just got his head cut off. When he just got his head cut off, and then that's where we stopped because that's when the manga was still ongoing. Now, you know, piggybacking off of what you said about the manga and the fight scenes, what did you think of like when they fought Upper Moon 1? Because that was a pretty long, I guess you could say, arc in itself. Because you know you had like Genya, his brother Senemi, the Rock Pillar.
Yeah, there's three pillars that had to fight him.
Yeah,
good fight. It was pretty disappointing seeing I forgot his name already. The water pillar or the mist pillar. He just
Tokido. Yeah,
he gets wrecked.
Yeah, dude. not even like half a chapter in, just a few pages, he just gets wrecked.
Well, it goes from him in the last part when they're in the blacksmith arc. He's pretty much he destroys the Upper Moon Demon. Was it 5?
I think so.
Yeah, he absolutely wrecks him the moment he gets his scar, and then he just gets immediately wrecked in this fight against. I mean, it makes sense that they're trying to hype it up. He doesn't die right away, but obviously he dies in the end. And then I think the cool thing is learning how strong the wind Hashira was. But dude, the rock pillar is the strongest one. Dude, that dude is busted.
Yeah, like he physically he is definitely the strongest pillar. But I loved seeing that backstory too with Senemi and Genya, especially, you know, where it's that moment where everyone's gonna be like, oh my god, we were so wrong about the wind pillar, you know, because right now the anime onlys they only like they hate the wind pillar right now.
He's a dick.
Yeah.
He's kind of basically the Bakugo of the series.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. He's the Bakugo of the series, and it's going to take time for folks to really enjoy his character. But when they do, and whenever this gets animated, I can't wait to see how the anime onlys react to seeing Senemi's like backstory and how gifted
wild.
He is. Yeah.
Wild.
Everyone's gonna jump on his dick, like, oh my god, Senemi's the best ever. Yeah, but I thought that fight was, you know, I thought it was a bit longer than it should have been. I think they used a lot of time just trying to kill the Upper Moon one.
Explaining the original Hash, the Sun Pillar's story in the middle of the fight too. Yeah,
that too. Like right towards the end, right before he gets killed, like backstory time. They go through his whole backstory, which is crazy.
There's that, and they also went further into Genya's story.
Yeah.
Because he was gonna die anyways, and then they were the water pillar, the mist pillar. They were just doing it. Everybody in that fight had their backstory told during that fight.
I think that's why they made it seem like it was just so long, you know, like especially their there are moments like after death, like how Tokido, when he dies, he sees his twin brother, and like his twin brother's like, you're too young to die. Why are you here? And then with Genya's passing is gonna hurt me a lot. Like I teared up reading that. So just watching that in animation form, I know that's gonna hurt like a bitch.
It depends on the pace. I think it's hard though, because my issue with it is that Demon Slayer as a whole is already dramatic. It's already extra. Like if you think about it, you go back and watch season 1. There's a lot of dramatic like I think if there's any one unbiased criticism of Demon Slayer is that it's a bit overly dramatic. Especially the way Tanjiro's character is. Dude is he's a crybaby.
Yeah, he's like I talked about like comparing him and Midoriya. Like, I still agree with what I said. I still think Tanjiro's a better protagonist than Midoriya, but they're both crybabies in their own way though. Like the Tanjiro's a crybaby for like his family and for his friends.
They're a product of their environment. That's just
and then Midoriya's like a big crybaby about like I need to be better about himself. And
Midoriya is a bit more relatable. That's just the thing. I think what makes Midoriya so good is, I mean, obviously there's a lot of negative stigmas to his character arc, because I think there's a good amount of people that don't like that kind of character architecture, but I mean, a lot of us can. I can understand. I cried like a bitch when I first saw that first season. Like it was super good. That's what got me hooked.
No, like I agree with that. I mean, like I said, I don't think Midoriya is the best, but he's definitely relatable. That I can agree on, because he, like a lot of us nerds out there, we're all struggling like Midoriya, trying to achieve something that we want. The only reason why I say Tanjiro is better, because when it comes to like being more of a, not so much of a hero, but being like a main character, Tanjiro's kind of got it down. He's already selfless from the get go. He doesn't need to be told that you're selfless, or like and like power scaling. There's no power scaling in Demon Slayer. Tanjiro's always like fighting in the front of the lines for everyone. That's kind of like what I like, that they don't have to mention that, like, oh, Tanjiro, go fight. Like he's already there fighting.
I mean, I guess I would side with Midoriya.
I figured.
The only reason why I don't feel that way about Tanjiro is just because the story is so short. They don't explain enough. Like when you go to the movie, and then when those people were in his dream trying to kill him, and his soul was so tranquil that guy cried like a bitch.
Oh yeah.
But the thing is, they never really explain, and they never really go into depth with Tanjiro's character, because he's kind of just there. I mean, he's a good character. Like he's kind, like basically he's just like the perfect human. That's what it is.
He's what humans should be.
I think my issue is just that there's just not enough time to develop it. And my thing with my hero, which is what makes it better in a way and also kind of bad, because it's so long, there's so many fillers. Midoriya is a bit more complex in my opinion, because he not only does he have that emotional side, he's also super smart. I mean, well, he's supposed to be super smart, because you look at when they saved Bakugo during the All Might versus All For One fight. He thought up that plan, and they did like a whole scene on it. So like Midoriya is a really smart character, and they're able to explore more about Midoriya than they do Tanjiro, because Tanjiro he's kind of the same the majority of the time. He's just screaming and crying and
like,
very emotional in a good way.
Well, the thing is, like with Tanjiro, his thing is like they kind of just make it already, like in the first couple episodes, like he's a family person, like right from the get go. Like, okay, this is who he is. There's nothing else to build him up besides him being a kind family man. Head of the family household guy. But Midoriya, since he's a student who's going to school, learning about his skills, and then facing like bullies and villains, he has more opportunities to grow as a human through his experiences versus Tanjiro, who's just trying to save his sister.
Well, also another thing is, it's because my hero is, in a way, it's Midoriya telling his own story. I mean, they kind of tell us every episode, and whereas Tanjiro, it's not really about him, even though it pretty much is, because they go very deep into a lot of like the past and what happens, and But that's just the thing when you have a very condensed story. You just can't really. It's tough. That's the hard thing about storytelling. It's either too short or too long, and I mean, I think my hero is a little bit too long, but and then
I think they're all right so far, even in the manga.
yeah, well, I think it's a little bit over because the issue with my hero is too many characters. I mean, which is that's the point though. I mean, it does a good job with the amount of characters it has, but there's also a lot of downsides to having so many characters. And then whereas you look at Demon Slayer, there's I mean, there's a lot of characters, but it's more than because the story is very self-contained and it works.
Like with Demon Slayer, you only have the 4 really to worry about. Everyone else is kind of like, eh.
Not really. I feel like Kanayo was pretty underwhelming too.
And yeah, Kanal's story, like she's already like weird.
Well,
So
she
they
wasn't
kind of
with
just
the first half. She wasn't even with them.
yeah,
I think the blacksmith arc. She was she didn't really join up until the blacksmith arc.
yeah. Until like where they start training more and like she shows up and then like even with Genya, you think Genya would be you think Genya would be a character that's stuck around a lot of the time, and he's not really with them. He's with
Like,
the Rock Pillar, and he's already training.
we see him a few times, and then the training, then the blacksmith fight, and then the next time you see him, he's dead.
I know, right? Dude, you know how pissed I was when like again like with that theory I had, because I always thought that like okay, so Tanjiro has the smelling, Zenitsu has the hearing, Kanao has the sight, Inosuke has touch, and Genya has like the sense of taste since he eats demons for his powers. So I thought like, oh shit, they're each gonna use their individual hyper senses of the human senses, along with Nezuko and maybe Tomioka helping them. And this is how they're gonna beat Muzan. This is like they all have to work together. I thought that ending was gonna be like, oh shit, Tanjiro and his like he's gonna all this shit.
Mhm.
None of that shit happens in this final battle, like which is crazy though. With this final battle with Muzan, like when you learn, like it took this long to even learn about like Obanai's story. Like when it took him to fight Muzan to go. Oh, so that's how he looks like without the mask over his face.
Yeah. He's easily the second strongest pillar. I mean,
I don't know. After rereading, I know he's pretty strong, but after rereading it, I think this is my ranking. I think the Rock Pillar is probably the strongest, and then it's probably between like Rengoku and Tokido, since Tokido was more of a genius, and then maybe like Senemi, Tomioka, and Obanai, like kind of like that. Because when you see that battle with Akaza versus Tanjiro and Tomioka, like I don't know if it's because Akaza got stronger or it's because like they struggled to fight this, because Rengoku's fight with him in the manga is definitely much shorter than the anime, so we don't, like you said, we don't get to see Rengoku at his fullest. It's a very fast.
He didn't get the scar.
Yeah, so like exactly. He didn't even get like the battle or like the breathing scar or like the demon slayer. Like Tomioka got that, and he got his powers boosted, and even then, like Tanjiro, it took Tanjiro using like the flame, the breath of the sun to kind of take out Akaza, but they still technically didn't kill him because he kept coming back.
I don't think they do a good job of explaining Tanjiro's thing either, because we're thinking that he's related to the Sun Hero Ashura, but he's not.
Yeah. That's what I said too. That's I thought like he had some sort of bloodline relation with the first Demon Slayer. It just turns out that his family inherited the form and the dance, and like his great ancestor who looks just like Tanjiro, like was a good student.
They had some good memories.
Yeah, like Tanjiro went all the way back to that. Like imagine like going back to our grandpa's memories or something like that. It's I don't know. I wish they kind of explained better too. Like the fact that access to memories like that.
I hate the fact that they teased it because they made his dad look like the Sun Hashira.
Oh yeah, I know, right? His dad has the ponytail, the long hair,
but in the end, he couldn't fight. I mean, he probably like they hinted that he could fight. Like he could fight a bear, right, with an axe. But the thing is, he was never really a demon slayer.
Yeah, he just learned the skill set to pass down. But yeah, man, just kind of to touch up on the on Yorichi's story too. Like when I reread it, I forgot about how his family, he had a family and they were killed, and stuff like that. And
well, no, yeah, it started with his family where he wasn't. He had a scar, so then his brother was going to be the house member, or just like the leading family member, and he was going to get sent to he survived because his mom didn't let his dad kill him.
Yeah.
And then there's a whole story, and then they found out that he was a better swordsman because he's just good at everything. He had X-ray vision.
Pretty much. He came out like Superman.
And then when he left, that's the tragic story with his first wife. That was super sad, and especially in the manga. Like, dude, in the anime, I'm gonna cry like a girl if they animate that well.
Dude, like even with the it's a lot of these characters' stories are very similar. They just step out the house one day and then their family gets murked. Like same thing with Tanjiro. He stepped out and did his job, came home, family got killed.
The exact same thing happened.
So like everyone's kind of got that same experience, but like again back with Yorichi, I really wish like Tanjiro was related to this character besides just inheriting the.
It would have made sense because it makes no sense the fact that he wasn't. It just doesn't make sense.
And that's why like I kind of just felt like I was a little bit let down because it would have been like story wise, yes, it would have been like very typical, but then it just the way how they wrote it out to where like explains like Tanjiro's scar in his forehead, how he learned, how he's so gifted as a swordsman, like why he can't use the water breath as well, and like why his sword turned black. Because
they never explain that either.
Yeah. And so it makes sense that it's because he's from that descendant of the breath of the sun. And then like with the sword turning red, all the demon slayers learn how to do that fighting Muzan. It's like through extreme heat, or like how you grip your sword. It was that final battle with Muzan was just crazy. I mean, what did you think, Moang? Like how they ended up kind of taking out Muzan? How, like, if it wasn't for Yoshiro, Tamayo's assistant, the Edward of the story, like if it wasn't for I think he's like the MVP of the story, because if it wasn't for him taking them outside, him blinding or giving like those tags to everyone to see, all would have been murked.
It's weird. I mean, him and Tamayo in general, because the only reason why they even beat Muzan was because Tamayo's poison. Because after it started taking effect, I think the thing was that the poison took a while to start. But the thing is, what it did was it made him age significantly faster. So that's why, like, towards the end, he couldn't. It was harder to regenerate. It was harder to use his abilities. His hair turned white.
Yeah.
That was literally the only reason why they beat him.
Yeah, that poison saved their asses.
Mm-hmm.
I like that too. I like that, how Tamayo and Shinobu, they both combined like their poisons, and the fact like she is like, the poison ages you, stops your regeneration, and then like I think there was like a third or fourth step to it too. Like it just pretty much, if it didn't kill him, then there was other ways to kill him pretty much. And then like I liked how Muzan was like battling. He's like, oh shit, so he was calculating like, I've been battling since this time, and I've been fighting up till now. I've aged like 8,500 years.
Mm-hmm.
That dude, like, he was panicking, like he was like, "Oh my god!"
You could feel it, and then the sun was coming up, so it became a battle of keeping him on the field. Especially, it was funny because they were fighting in like the middle of the city.
Yeah.
So, like,
you see all the demon slayers or those helpers, they are like pushing the trucks and like
when he turned to friggin' baby.
I was not expecting that. Like how he turned into a giant. I mean, it makes sense to like pretty much. He pretty much is a big baby. He's scared of death and stuff like that. But like the just from that fight though, man, like seeing how the other Demon Slayer members were like giving their life for the Hashira, like we got to sacrifice ourselves. They're the only ones who can kill them. They're all getting like chopped up. Tanjiro gets poisoned. Like
we're getting murked.
Dude, it's so crazy, man. Like especially like after I reread it, I'm like, damn, dude, like it I didn't take into effect like how crazy this battle was when it came to like other people besides our main characters. Like that, like all these characters like were just like, this is our last like literally do or die kind of moment, and it took almost all of them to really, it took the entire Demon Slayer core really to take down Muzan. But just seeing like the Hashiras fight him, and the Rock Pillar, Senemi, Tomioka, who else, and Tanjiro, like, and Obanai, and what's her name, Mitsuri, the Love Pillar, like, dude, they all jumped Muzan, and he still like held off on his own, and it was just so like that. When I think back about it now, like just this last battle that they did, like Muzan literally could have, like, there was no way of beating him unless the sun came up.
Honestly, Muzan and the final battle reminded me of a boss battle in Resident Evil. It was basically a BOW in Resident Evil. Which is like, I was like, dude, this could be like a prequel to Resident Evil.
And with this fight scene too, like, again, they touch up on Obanai's story and kind of go back on Muzan a little bit too. But once they finally defeat Muzan, with everyone's help, and like just seeing like how, man, I loved it when they when the part came when Zenitsu, Inosuke, and Kanao came into the fight, and Muzan was like, what is that hitting me? It's like a jagged edged blade. I can't see it, it's Inosuke, and they have all the tags and they're like throwing that shit out. And I loved seeing all of our main characters fight Muzan too, and I kind of just wish that like it was more like them finishing it off, Muzan. But I mean, with everyone fighting too, it just makes sense too. But it's just like seeing,
kind of like they meshed everything together, and
everyone was fighting. It wasn't just like the main characters.
It wasn't very well organized.
Yeah, like it was literally like when Madara fought the nations, and it's like that. But like instead of Madara winning, instead of Madara like marking all of them, he gets killed.
I think the only thing about the manga is that it seems, I think the manga in general, that final battle, it's a little bit overwhelming because of what happens. Like they literally only destroy a few buildings, and then they're just going down the street as Muzan tries to run away.
Yeah, it's like a very self-contained battle.
Well, even though people are just getting killed left and right, but there's still a lot of people, and if you think about it, they don't really kill that many people compared to like look at the final battle of Naruto.
Yeah, dude, people were getting like, there was like countless bodies getting dropped in Naruto, but
because they had a new challenger.
Yeah, very Madara, and then bam, Obito came to, and then bam, Kaguya. Like, damn, dude, like, do I hear final boss music? Holy crap! But like up to the point where when Nezuko came back, what did you think about that too? Like how that, I guess the cure for Nezuko, it was just like what through Yushiro said, it was just basically all through sheer luck, like how she gets turned back to human, and up towards the end, how she never like turned back. What did you think of that?
I think overall I'm okay with it, but it just like with the entire story, it doesn't make sense. I think the manga art writer, I think he focused, which is fine. He focused more on the action and just the main plot, but a lot of the subplots that he had for the story, the payoff really wasn't that good. Because I think the moment Nezuko, I think after the blacksmith arc, dude, that was a good, that reveal when she was able to walk in the sun, that was mind blowing. Like I think that was like, you feel
like they should have done more with that?
Yeah, they should have done more and explained more why Nezuko was able to do this, or why she was able to resist eating, because no other demon, like from what they've told us, like no other demon has done it other than Tamayo. I guess Tamayo, they should explain it. Like
Tamayo's explanation was like her and Yushiro, they drink like droplets of human blood.
Okay.
But they don't consume people though. But then like with Nezuko, again, this is where me and Lee thought that that maybe Nezuko was like a child of Muzan, because one of Lee's theories was like maybe Muzan's having like kids everywhere, because how he had the family in the anime. Like maybe Muzan's just having kids to see if his kids could walk in the sun, and through Nezuko, maybe what if Nezuko was his one of his daughters, and it turns out that's why like she was able to walk in the sun, but none of that came through, and it's just so it really just debunked a lot of our theories. And agreeing to what you said, like they didn't do much with besides that huge reveal. They didn't do much with it. Like she just walked in the sun, and the next thing you know, they're off fighting Muzan.
All of it would have made way more sense if they were related to the original pillar. Because dude he's like an anomaly. Like, you don't really have to explain, because you never really have to explain Yorichi's powers, because obviously
he was born gifted.
Keep it vague and make him. He's born gifted. He's just super OP, and he's like he loves everybody, and he could beat Muzan 1v1. And then what they could have done was that, because they were descendants of Yorichi, Nezuko had her willpower could overcome the demon transformation, and then Tanjiro was just super gifted in fighting and the sword, because he was related to the Sun Hashira. But they just didn't do that, and I felt like they were trying too hard to subvert our expectations, and it just doesn't pay off, especially with the black sword, because in the anime they make it seem it seems really important, the fact that he got a black sword and not a fire sword. But that just goes with my issue of the whole series in general. Like a lot of the subplots, a lot of
loose ends.
None of them really pay off. Like
literally. Yeah, I mean that is true. There are like a lot of loose ends in this series. Not major details, but details where they could have explained more into it. Yeah. And like even after they defeat Muzan, where Tanjiro turned, dude, when Tanjiro turned, I was like, oh shit, this is their Gotoge is going for a sequel here. Like that's what me and Lee thought. We thought that was going to be their move for like a Demon Slayer sequel once Tanjiro turned. I even did like a little bit, like it's not uploaded, but I even spoke with Andrew about this too. Like just seeing Tanjiro turn into a demon and how it could lead up to a sequel where now it's Nezuko who has to train as a swordsman, and they have to go and save Tanjiro. Like all these ideas were just flushing through my mind because like, damn, they're like how OP he was when he turned as a demon, and right away he's super regenerative, and then he walked in the sun immediately. Like it was, that part was just crazy because like Yushiro, like it's already sunlight out, so Yushiro can't step out to help, and then like Tomioka and all them, they're all like holding back Tanjiro, and like this part made me like tear up too. Is like Inosuke was like let me do it, let me kill him, and he thinks back to when they're training, and Tanjiro's like, if one of us goes rogue, we have to stop each other. We're friends, right? And then Inosuke's crying through his mask, and he's like, I can't do it, Tanjiro. And he says his name. Oh man, that part hit me hard. I'm like, damn, dude, it was just so sad seeing like the growth of Inosuke's character. Like he's always bullshitting with not Naruto, but bullshitting with Tanjiro, and always missaying his name and always like taking his food, but at the end, like he really genuinely cared about Tanjiro, and that hit me pretty hard. And then Zenitsu comes back, he's back to just his crying self. We're like, why are you doing this? And he's just like crying and everything. Like you're biting Nezuko, and that's where like again, that's where I brought up like with what Yushiro said about Nezuko being sheer luck. Like even when Tanjiro bit her, like she just turned back to human, and this explanation, I mean, it does make sense, but like it's just if they were gonna go off of that, then it should have just been like more simplified than having Tanjiro just like be a demon and all that. Like they made it really quick. It was Gotoge did a good job teasing us with that. Like, oh, there's a possible sequel. Then nope, it's not.
Just teased it because it was a kind of she used her last eye for her ability to do the cure, basically.
Yeah, and that was a good twist too. Like how she had the last poison or like the last cure, and it reverted Tanjiro back. But overall, What did you think of the ending, though? I mean, like, you know, a lot of fans who read the manga, a lot of them were really disappointed with how Kotoge wrapped up the story.
Yeah.
I liked how they did it. I liked how they ended it. I like kind of like what you were saying before. I mean, yes, there are some loose ends, but I don't. I think the ending that they did was just it was good enough to wrap up the story.
Yeah.
It's not good enough. It wasn't like a spectacular ending because when you look at how long the series is, it's only like 205 chapters.
Not that
It's
long.
not that long.
It's tough. I mean, because I think it is definitely more risky to drag it out. And that's like I said, it's a really good. I think it's fine for because the fact that it's a shonen. It's a shonen, so it's mostly just action. So they don't really have to do anything crazy. Even though the loose ends didn't pay out, because I think right now the only thing he's doing right now is he's going back and retelling like he retold a Rengoku story. I think that was like one of the other chapters that came out a while ago. So I think yeah.
It came out with the last volume. It was like it was Gotoge wrote more about Rengoku a little bit, and then apparently there's like a not so much of a sequel, but like an ending after everything's done. So pretty much like when they go back home, and then what did they do in between that time of the story wrapping up to the future time skip?
Yeah, they did. They did what would happen if it was in the Tokyo today, and
yeah. So really, I mean, you know, now that we're on this topic of the time skip, what did you think of that? Like, I wasn't expecting them to do a time skip to where, like, you know, where they're all either being like reborn or like seeing them again. And, like,
yeah, they're a the younger generation.
Yeah.
Dude, the story's already over. I think everything else that we get from now at this point is just kind of filler. If you really like Demon Slayer, I guess you could read it, but I think the majority of it is just skippable. Like even the Rengoku story, it would have made more sense if they just shove it into like back before he died. Like they should have put that into the movie. Like they should just put that in the movie. I think that, or if when the Blu-ray comes out and they animate that entire volume, that would be pretty cool. But overall, I think that's why it's tough. I think I give it a lot of passes because it's a shonen. Because it's like I was telling you, like a good ending, dude. I'm telling you, you need to watch Code Geass.
I know. I think there's Code. I saw it on Netflix. Is that the entire series on Netflix?
Yeah, season 1 and 2. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
It's like 50 episodes, and even the English dubs are really good. It's a Johnny Young Bosch.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. I saw Johnny Young Bosch as the was not Deluxe, but Lelouch, whatever his name is. Yeah,
really good job. The reason why I like his character arc was just not. It's kind of spoilery, but not really, because he's kind of like he's basically like Yagami, except he's a good guy.
Yeah. You know I know how it ends. Like he wins at the end, but at the cost of like turning on everyone, kind of thing. Almost like an Aaron move, sort of, right?
Not really. He wins at the cost of turning everyone against him.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because the idea was that he wanted world peace, and the only way for him to get world peace is for everyone to hate him. Like, and then that's about it. And then you can kind of guess the rest, but you should watch the anime. I think season 1, I would give it like a 9 to 10 out of 10 because season 1 is super good, and the way they end it is crazy good. Season 2,
there's no movie in between, is there?
They actually re-released it in movie form.
Oh, like it's like a recap.
It's like a movie recap that's somewhere. I don't think it's really hard to find because I remember watching it because I thought it was more Kogias, but it's not. It's just it was literally just a recap of the anime.
They did that for Attack on Titan. They recap seasons 1 and 3 in a movie form. I'm like, what the hell? Who the hell would watch this?
and then they did a movie that came out that takes place after season 2. But you should watch season 1, 2 before you watch the movie because season 3 is really spoiler, and it kind of confirms a lot of theories because the ending of season 2 is super good because it leaves a lot of if you don't pay attention to the story, it can be confusing because there's a lot of really like high IQ like the way they end it and the way a lot of because the thing is
plot twist to it.
You have to think about it, because the thing is that they explain it. They explain it throughout a lot of the battles. But the thing is, if you don't put it together, then you won't truly understand the ending. Because the ending has it's a little bit confusing. Basically, Lelouch dies, but does he?
Oh, because they give you like a big cliffhanger at the end.
They do, but not really. It's an ending. Like he clearly dies, but they tease a little bit at the end where he is on where basically C2 is one of the main girls. She's on a cart and then there's someone driving it, but they don't show whose face it is.
Oh,
But the thing is, we don't know if it's him or not. It could be anybody. But the thing is, a lot of theories it was him. But the thing is, it's like, how is he alive? And they a lot. If you pay attention to the main story, you'll understand how he survived. Which I'm spoiling if you're right now, but yeah, no, it's really good. I think the ending.
I mean, like I don't mind the spoilers. I've already missed the train to really catch on.
Basically, Code Geass is like the better version of Death Note because Death Note's ending. Trash. I don't blame him because Yagami, dude's a psychopath.
I think with Light's ending, I think, I mean, because like there's different variations of it, like where he gets killed by the cops, or like when Ryu took his life, kind of thing.
Yeah, and then there's a live action where he actually loses to L.
Yeah, there's different it all in all, it just means at the end Light loses. It's just how much variation of him
It makes
losing.
sense. It makes sense though, because like the whole idea of the Death Note was that you're not immortal, and his idea was that he wanted to be a god.
Yeah,
and the thing is, their powers are actually pretty similar because Light's power, he writes the name in, and they die. But Lelouch's power is a little bit different, but it's similar. If you look at him in the eye, he can tell you what to do only once.
Okay. I'll try to make some time to watch that. I mean, like I'm already caught up on the Rent a Girlfriend manga, so
reading manga takes time.
Yeah.
Especially if you're trying to catch up to manga, you must have spent a lot of time watching that. Usually,
I spent some nights like earlier it took this whole week really from like Monday till last night, Friday, to catch up on Rent a Girlfriend because I was reading it from the first chapter up till now, and excuse me, like when I left off, when I finally started picking up after season 1, that's when that was back on this past Monday. That's when I was just finally getting to the parts where it's not animated yet, So I even bought like
after the anime, dude, the rest of the story it just gets good. It just gets
better. It's finally, like it finally gets the train rolling for where they ended off in season 1 of Rent a Girlfriend. But we will get to that on another episode. So we will not continue this Rent a Girlfriend talk. Yeah. Again, if you want to hear this Rent a Girlfriend talk stuff, you gotta follow Spoiler Force Podcast, and that way when you do see the episode drop, me and my cousin Moang, we will be talking all about Rent a Girlfriend. But till then, back to Demon Slayer. Kind of been on a tangent there, but back to Demon Slayer. With the ending that they did with them coming back, I really liked how they touched up on things. Like how Tomioka and Sabito and that girl, like they get reincarnated. They're little kids, or like Mitsuri and Obanai. They have the little bakery together. They're married. The Rock Pillar, he's a big babysitter. He's a giant dude sitting. Like everyone gets the ending that they wanted. But what did you think of Inosuke's, I guess, descendant being like a really smart child, but like wants to go back into the mountains?
I thought that was funny.
And they're like, "Oh man, she's so beautiful." Like, no, that's a boy.
It's weird. I have a hard time with the recap story because, in a way, I also don't see any point in it.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was like not mad at the ending, but I could have done off without this like generational time skip.
Because unless what they do is if demons come back in present Tokyo, that'd be cool.
Yeah, Andrew was talking about that too. Like me and Andrew were talking like maybe like if there is a possible Boruto Demon Slayer sequel.
It's possible though, because of the way they explain how Muzan became a demon. It wasn't even supernatural. It was a flower, right?
Yep.
So I mean, theoretically,
they could probably find that flower again.
Well, and there's one demon still alive, anyways.
Yeah, but Yushiro's not a bad guy.
He's not a bad guy, but what if he gets caught by the FBI or something and he gets tortured and goes evil, you know? Anything can happen. That's the issue with leaving it an open ending. Like, I thought they were going to kill him at the end. Like,
I knew they weren't going to kill him, but I thought that he would at least be more involved in the ending. He just gets up and leaves. He's like, "Yeah, I'm keeping Tamayo's memory alive." Bye. He just leaves.
It's tough. I think I just give it like a B. I as a grade, I'd give the ending as a B. It's not the best, and it's not really that great, but it's better than Naruto.
I mean, that's pretty much it for Demon Slayer. Really, like, again, for those of you who are listening, we didn't really want to break down arc by arc. You know, like it's just giving a overview of what we thought of the ending was from the last episode that I did with my cousin Lee. Because, you know, again, with Demon Slayer, this for me personally, this anime has been such a huge, like, I don't want to say inspiration, but it's affected me in a huge way, you know, and not a lot of animes do that for me, besides like Naruto or like even Bleach, you know, like it keeps me invested. But with Demon Slayer, as overhyped as it is, overall, I thought it was a great story, and especially like, you know, yeah, and with this ending, man, like I thought it was just good enough to wrap it up. Like it wasn't disappointing, but it could have been better. But it just like, okay, I can see where Gotoge wanted to end it. Like that's it. Yeah. There's, you know, no like, damn, they should have done this. Damn, they should have done that. It just like it ended. That's it. It's done. But with Gotoge on the topic here, you know, Gotoge got she got that Time Award, like that Time 100 magazine award. She's the first mangaka.
I think I heard because I listened to is it the Trash Taste podcast? It's like Anime Man and Connor. They were talking about that. It's the first anime to get into the Time magazine.
Yeah, and she's the first manga writer to ever make it into that. So that's some history making shit right there. Like
history. Oh, because the thing is, it makes sense. I think because even my dad, like before I moved out, he was like, "You need to grow from anime," and my mom was like, "Anime's not even that popular." I'm like, you guys don't know how popular it is. Like, obviously, there's people in Japan that don't really care about it, but when you look at money wise and production, how far it's gotten in today's, like, just how popular it is, it's really hard for a lot of companies to ignore anime now, because you look at Demon Slayer, I'm pretty sure it's bringing in a big box office, because you look at Spirited Away, it bring in a lot of money just from a movie, but you look at Demon Slayer, they went from a season 1 that was super overhyped but super good, and I'm pretty sure it's like literally one of the best animes that came out in the past decade, and then you go from a movie that does super well in the box office, and I think they're clearly generating a lot of revenue, and they're making money, and it's really hard for companies to ignore anime, the right anime now. And I think anime is it's going to get popular where a lot of people actually, it's not going to be, I mean, it's already been doing that, because like back in like the 2010 there were only a handful of people that liked anime and manga, and it's just not as popular, because I think the general consensus is just that if you like anime, you're a kid or you're weird, or but that's just not going to be true in the next decade.
I see it as this, like with comic books and anime on the rise in the past decade due to like Marvel comic conventions, shit, even cosplayers who like it's been such huge shift in how society views these pop culture icons and what we see on TV and what we watch. And, you know, with anime finally getting more mainstream, it's crazy, because I say this because now it's to the point where people are putting anime in the spotlight of like, oh, you know, how come there isn't this? How come there isn't that? Representation this, representation that. And I'm like, oh, like this is how, when you know, like this shit is getting real, because comic books was doing that, and they're still doing that now. And I mean, with DC Future State, they literally just shifted a whole new line of heroes to redo like a whole new set of stories. And now with anime on the rise, I'm not saying that representation is bad for anime. It's if you can find characters you can relate to, great. But I just think that we shouldn't push these ideals on anime right now because it's still growing.
Yeah,
like you cannot.
That's what makes it so good. The fact that there's so many genres, and dude, like you compare, like people are complaining about Demon Slayer, like the Japanese parents, like, it's not for kids. It's like, dude, have you seen Attack on Titan? That shit's been out for like since 2010, and dude watches his mom get eaten in half, bro.
Well, I also blame parents for this, like for this nonsense too. Like you cannot just assume that because Demon Slayer has high sales and like toys and shit and everything looks cool that your kid will enjoy it. Everything's not Dragon Ball Z uppity and like that, nor like Pokemon, shit.
Digimon, the cartoony, like
even Naruto, man. Like when you really break down Naruto, there's some fucked up shit too, man. You had like Orochimaru chasing Sasuke, and like
just look at the first episode, man.
Kids are getting killed. The village bullied the shit out of Naruto. Like.
Naruto episode 1 is the perfect monk story. There was an orphan.
It's people don't see that until it gets mainstream. And that's what irritates me a lot because it's like, okay, yes, you want your kid to grow up watching these fantasy fiction stories, but you also got to know how to discern what for your child not to watch. I mean, like do you really like, for example, like you shouldn't. I think you should, like watching something like Ghost in the Shell, which is more like adult themed.
Very adult themed.
Yeah. Like you wouldn't want your kid to watch Ghost in the Shell as a kid. Wait till they kind of grow older to watch something more intricate like that.
That show, that movie is way too intricate. Even if they did watch it, they wouldn't get like any of it.
No, it has to stay like an adult themed anime. I'm just using that as an example. But like again, back to Demon Slayer. I mean, like because there's kids involved doesn't mean that that's a kid related, like or a kid friendly show. And again with anime being on the rise, I think like we gotta let this time of anime growing and letting it being mainstream, let it grow and let it root itself. So that way, when it's rooted, we can finally, as a society, branch out to like, okay, we can have these kind of characters, we can have these kind of characters, and kind of slowly adapt to what it's happening now versus like trying to shove everything in everyone's throats.
The whole thing is just tough too because when you look at the economics of it, it's especially with like video games. There's a reason why majority of video gamers are guys, right? Because there are girl gamers, but the thing is, the reason why majority of like for example, you look at a lot of like there's that ongoing joke with RPG girl characters. They have full set of armor, but it's just literally a metal bra. and the thing is, there's a reason why a lot of these stories that are popular because they cater to men, for example.
Yep.
And people, and then when those types of stories like shonen, like having Tanjiro as a male lead, right? He's a generic young. It's called a shonen. It's a young male. And the thing is, when you look at representation, we get mad because Nezuko is not the lead, and why isn't she the lead? And why do we have to have a straight white young male as a lead? And it's just like it doesn't make sense. And the reason why there's a reason why Toga would have written the story like that, because it's a lot easier for young men to relate to this character because the majority of the people that read the manga are young men.
Yeah, I mean, like if people kind of just look more into the I'm like stuttering my words out. If people just looked more into the demographics of what sells and what doesn't sell at the moment, then everything would be more explained. Now, do I want to see progression and change in anime? Yeah, for sure. I would love to see that. Imagine like seeing like a Southeast Asian character as the main lead. That would be some dope ass shit. But as of right now, we won't see that because it's not what's hot, I guess, right now. Which I hate to say it like that, but it's not what sells right now, And forcing that idea or trying to forcibly change those I guess those themes or like what sells, you can't force. I mean, yeah, if you boycott a company, then okay, but you can't really change the mindset of all these corporate companies that already set their goals onto that? Like it's like making, like, would you make? I keep trying to think of I'm trying to think of a good example, but I can't. But like, you get what I'm saying, though, right? It's just you can't.
It's with any company. The only way to change how the companies operate is with your wallet.
Yeah, exactly. And okay, a good example, Uzaki-chan. We talked about Uzaki-chan multiple times on the podcast. Yeah. Okay, Uzaki-chan was one of those animes, like we said before, that faced a lot of setback because of what they were selling, and like
it wasn't even that good. Like,
I know, right?
Special.
It wasn't a good. It was just a typical
rom-com. Yeah. Nothing crazy, but it got blown up because of it. Literally, like, got popular because of someone getting offended.
Yeah, and so like maybe if put it like, if we don't pay attention to that kind of shit, eventually things will change.
Yeah, because
people keep paying attention to things that offend them. That's why things aren't changing. They're going to keep, this is what draws views, is we got to offend the crowd to get views. Like, companies are thinking like this. They are thinking like this on purpose because they know that if they agree to the crowd, yes, you'll have like a big jump at first, and then no one up. Like, are they really going to support at the end? Because the majority of these people who complain, they don't even support what they're trying to change. Like a lot of these, I'm pretty sure, like a lot of these people who were offended about Uzaki-chan did not read manga or
watch anime.
Yeah.
Just offended that her proportions are not realistic.
But that's the point I'm trying to make here with this topic, is like, yes, even though there are race, gender, sexuality changes to these main leads or anime or manga or whatever that we're into, I don't think that by being offended would change it, unless you are a part of that culture, or into, or even supporting these companies. Because, like you said, Mom, the only way you can change it is through the money. You stop buying these stuff, eventually they'll change it. But you keep buying anime, but get offended, but you're supporting them anyway. Doesn't help.
You're supporting them by creating buzz around it too.
Yeah. And
like My Hero, My Hero is popular because it has literally one of the most toxic fan base.
Yeah, dude, the Demon Slayer fan base is pretty toxic too. I didn't realize how toxic Demon Slayer fans were.
It's a little bit different because it's overhyped. That's like one toxic part of it. It's overhyped. It's like you already don't like it because you think it's overhyped.
yeah, it's either you love it or you hate it. Like, there is no in between for Demon Slayer. Do you want to start your own podcast? Then sign up with Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout has helped hundreds of thousands of users to begin their podcasting journey. With easy-to-use tools, you can effectively get your podcast onto many platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and more. You can view stats, create audio clips, and even have your own podcasting website. Buzzsprout also offers ideas, tips, tricks, and tutorials to help you improve your podcast. Follow the link below, and once you sign up, you'll get a $20 Amazon gift card. This will let Buzzsprout know that I sent you and also support Spoiler Force Podcast. Happy podcasting. If you're into anime, manga, or anything that's from Japan, Otaku Detroit is the place for you. Located at 513 West, 11 Mile Road in Madison Heights, Michigan, you can find a variety of manga books, anime figures, collectibles, posters, snacks, and even authentic items from Japan. Stop on by to see store owner Matt and let him know Spoiler Force sent you. So, on to the next topic. And so if you made it this far by listening, hopefully you're not offended. And if you are, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments and stuff like that. I love to hear what your guys' perspectives are. Again, we are not professionals on this stuff. We are just simply giving our thoughts. And if you disagree with us, it's completely okay. Again, but I would love to hear or at least see what you guys, listeners, have to say about what me and my cousin said. Because, again, with anime being mainstream, more mainstream, there are going to be talks like this, and we can't avoid these, and topics like this is what helps us as a society see what we need to change, or what do we need to do to improve, or what can we take away. If we don't ever talk about stuff like this, and even like in anime or manga, and can you imagine like real world issues where this is going on, and it's we got to talk about it. So if any listener has ideas or criticisms or what they want to say about or what they agree or disagree about, let me know in the comments. But yes, to to continue on from there, though, I don't want to drag out this topic for too long. Did you catch up on Re:Zero?
The anime, yeah, the last episode. I'm ready for the next one, man.
Dude, okay, so I'm just gonna strictly talk about the ending for the last episode where Garth and his sister reunite.
Yeah.
Dude, I kind of geeked out when I saw that. Like, oh my god, Garth and Eric Edna, like they're finally, or they're together. Like they're siblings, and
the character growth is just weird with Garth because dude was a dick the whole time until Super got it right.
Yeah, I know. I see it. Like, I know you've been busy, so like I've been like wondering to know what your thoughts were, like how the progression of the second half of the season was, because mostly it's been about just the trials, and I'm still kind of confused on what's going on, like why Emilia has to do these trials. But I do like. I kind of just wish they stuck with the idea of like, or kept them the theme of Elsa and Subaru trying to save the mansion versus it being all about Emilia and Rosewall.
Yeah, I think the subplots a little bit got a little bit out of hand, because we haven't even dealt with the rabbits yet. And I think there's another theory that Rosewald is combined with that one guy. That one guy in the past that was.
Oh yeah, the guy that he fought.
If you look at how they talk, when he does his long starter speech, he didn't do that before. When he's young, he talked normal. But then when you listen to that one bad guy talk, dude, he actually stuttered his voice or he expanded his last lines like that, and the way he's dressed. It seems like both of them did like a freaking Dragon Ball transformation.
I do like the fact that Rosewall had a connection with Echidna, but he is such a simp too, man. That Rosewall is like, fuck Rosewall. I'm saying it now, fuck Rosewall, dude. I hate Rosewall right now. I thought that he was gonna be like a twisted hero in a sense, but no, fuck him. He's a simp. He is doing all this shit because he wants to see his witch. Like, that's it. Fuck Rosewall.
Yeah, because we don't really know his plan yet, because he's probably gonna end up being the final boss. Because, like I said, like we still have to deal with the rabbits. So, and then they haven't really, because they haven't even freed everyone from Sanctuary yet, because it was just Garth that left.
Yep.
Okay.
Let me ask you this: was that what it was the whole time? Like they were just trying to free people from the Sanctuary?
Yeah, that's just the one goal. We're just because the reason why they're there in the first place was from season 1. Because all of them had half of the villagers had to run away because they had to go Sanctuary just because of the cult thing, and then literally their one goal from episode 1 of season 2 was to go Sanctuary and release everybody, but they can't until Emilia finishes all 3 trials, and she only finished 1. She's got 2 more trials.
I have to go back and rewatch that. See, this is where I've been confused this whole damn time. I'm like, damn, why are they so focused on these damn trials? And I'm just like, get on with the damn story.
Yeah. And then we still got like I said, we still got the rabbits.
What did you think of the whole Ryuzu story, like back subplot? Like,
it made sense, and like it was just a way to explain why the Sanctuary is the way it is.
I really liked how they touched up on Beatrice's backstory too, like how she's connected with the Witch of Greed, and like her and Ryuzu were friends. I thought that was really cute. But like to see how she goes that far back with Rosewall alone.
I think that's the only reason why Rosewall's still alive, is because he somehow combined with that one guy, and I think that's the only reason why because it has to be the same Rosewall. Because I think before they were talking that he was just a descendant, but the thing is, that Rosewall has to be the same Rosewall, except combined with that one guy.
Maybe. I hope they explain that too. But then, like when Ram like confronted him, I kind of geeked out a little bit too. Like, yes, like Ram is not just a puppet. She's finally standing up for herself.
Yeah, finally.
Right.
And then when they revealed that she had Puck with them and they were gonna fight.
Yeah. Dude, that Puck reveal, I geeked out too. I saw Puck and like, oh my god, Puck's not gone. Like, he's still around.
Yeah, useless.
Dude, because like I was kind of upset too when they kind of revealed like how Puck disappeared from Amelia. I didn't like that because like I've always felt like Puck, even though Puck's just a spirit with Amelia, I feel like Puck's after watching that OVA, just like seeing the relationship between Puck and
It makes
Amelia,
sense.
like I didn't like how they did that, and but now with the plan being revealed and him coming back, I really like how they kind of just made it seem like Puck was gone, but really he was part of Subaru's plan this whole time.
They just haven't explained it yet. I feel like they might either do a flashback of Subaru talking to him somehow without Amelia's knowledge of the plan. But yeah, no, it's because it's basically what's going to happen is they're going to deal with the mansion. They're probably going to beat Elsa. They're going to beat that imposter. And then they're gonna have to deal with the rabbits and then Roosevelt, unless Roosevelt teams up with them. But I think what's gonna happen is Roosevelt's gonna beat Puck, or then he's not gonna beat him, but he's pretty much gonna beat him. And it's gonna be just right now they're just stalling him, so Roosevelt doesn't do anything crazy. And then it's gonna be a final. I think honestly, the final battle is gonna be with Roosevelt. I think.
What about the other archbishops though? Like with that backstory with Beltagese, dude.
I don't think we're gonna get them for a long time.
Maybe
because they explained Beltagese, and I think it was the Archbishop of Greed, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see him for a while. I think they just teased Greed and Gluttony for a while, and we're probably not gonna see him until season 3 or season 2. I think, in my opinion, because it doesn't make sense for them to come in because they have so much to deal with right now.
They already just teased him on like the show. Like there are still other archbishops.
They're pretty OP though, man.
Yeah, but yeah, like I'm saying, like the Archbishop of Greed, like I forgot his name already, but his powers are crazy. Like he was able to handle Beltagese and Amelia's mom on his own, and then with Gluttony's power eating you or eating your memory, and then you get taken away. I mean, like they even like flashed Rem in the sleep, but I geeked out. Like, oh my god, they finally showed Rem. Like.
Why they gotta do this, my girl?
Dude, like I really don't like the fact that Rem has been out this entire season, like both halves.
It was literally the best. Like she's the driving character in the second half of Raise Zero season 1. Like she literally made that show.
Shit, even though she's not in the series right now, her toy sales or her figure sales are still going up.
It's probably going up a little bit because now that they got the kid version of her, I like Amelia a bit more, but I'm still a Rem fan.
I like Rem more than I do Amelia. But I do like Amelia's progression in this season so far. I really enjoyed seeing her being progressed and not just being like the typical female character that needs help. Like she's
becoming more important.
Yeah, like she's finally able to stand up for herself, face her fears without the help of Subaru. I did think it was a bit corny when Subaru kissed her. I thought that was a bit corny, but I really liked her progression though, like how she finally was like, man, I got to stop depending on these people and do it for myself, kind of thing.
But it's hard though because the first season or the first part of the season 2, dude, she was failing. She's failed so many times.
I know.
Dude, literally, Subaru was the only reason why she passed, and the reason why like Rem more is that she was the opposite. Like regardless of what timeline they were in, Rem was literally sacrificing herself for a Subaru. Whereas Amelia, Subaru kind of has to hold her. He basically had to hold her hand like from season 1 to season 2. He's literally holding her hand.
That is exactly why I'm not a big Amelia fan. Kind of makes me think of like, as much as I didn't want to talk about it, it makes me think of like Rent a Girlfriend, like how why I like Sumi's character so much, which I'm not gonna get into, but I'm just you know what I'm talking about. Like with Sumi's character. I kind of like that more for like the female lead, or like at least for like more of the female anime characters, because I hate the whole like I need help and I need you to be there for me kind of thing. Like, if you can just simply help the hero or do it yourself kind of thing, I'm more drawn to that, like a more strong-headed female lead like Mikasa. Like yes, she's obsessed with Eren, but dude, she's the one that's saving his ass.
that's just the thing. I think Raise Joe does a little bit better job at making you choose the waifus, I guess, kind of. But I think that the issue is the issue with Rent a Girlfriend. Just to quickly, it's just that they have the four main girls. They just don't do a good job at using them because
I know.
it's literally just
It's
Mizuhara
just recycled all
it's
over
just
again.
it's literally Mizuhara and Ruka. Those are
Yeah.
literally the only two girls you have to worry about.
Yes, but again, we're just teasing Rent a Girlfriend. We will get to an episode where we Hmong talk about Rent a Girlfriend. Trust me, like I cannot. I am trying so hard not to talk about the manga right now because that's a whole episode on itself.
Yeah.
But what else have you been? You've been trying to get me to watch that one other anime. What was it? The
The Code Geass, and then I've been rewatching it. Beck, the Mongolian Chop Squad. It's an older anime, but it's super good. Like we're just rewatching it. It's one of the animes I kind of grew up watching. It's an anime about a guy who doesn't really know much about. Like he listens to like the K-pop or the regular pop music, like pop idol singers. But the thing is, he's just a regular kid in high school, and he's nothing really special. And then that one day, and a lot of the bands that they talk about are kind of made up, like Dying Breed. It's mostly about rock. It's a rock like rock and band type of show, and he kind of learns about rock music, and they talk about the Beatles and the Rocket Boys, and like a lot of like they go in depth with like the importance of jazz and rock and how it's going up, and the issue with pop, like basically pop music is just like coffee with sugar. It makes money. Pop makes more money, but you look at like the foundations of music. You look into the blues and jazz and how important rock is to a lot of these genres, but they're just not as popular as compared to pop and rap, and because it's just it makes more money, which is why there's a lot of good Japanese rock music out there, but you look at
like the Peggies.
you look at the mainstream music today, it's very poppy and very like Justin Bieber. There's a reason why Justin Bieber is like super popular because they have the four chords, and there's a lot of it's tough. And the show does a really good job at like talking about. And it's got some really good story beats too. It goes into like one of the favorite quotes. Johnny Young Bosch plays as one of the characters too. It's
Nice.
an old anime. It's like you either live your life taking if you live your life based on other people's expectations, your life isn't your own anymore. So that's like it goes into like how hard it is to be a musician and how hard it is to break out. But it's from like they're in a band and they have romance. They have some pretty good romance beats into part of it because it's a slice of life, and it goes from middle school throughout high school, and then the final arc of them playing music, and there's some pretty good drama too. But it's just a really good slice of life, and the music is super good. Like they have their own music. But I'd give it. I'd honestly, from a story standpoint, I'd give it like almost like a 10. It's like animations are old, but the story is just super good.
What's it called again? Mongolian something?
Beck, Mongolian Chop Squad.
Oh.
So basically, their Japanese band name is Beck, and then what they did was because it's so hard to get like a publisher to help get them like a record label. They signed off their first album to an unknown American company that sent them to their music to America, and they got super popular in America. But the thing is, when they signed the contract, they made zero royalties. It was tough, and it's a lot of it's just like a lot of practice. Because the thing is, Koyuki, he's the main character. It's his story. It's really good because he goes from not knowing how to play guitar, and he progressively gets really good at playing guitar and singing throughout the show. So it's really good. Like if you give it some time, I'm telling you, it's super good, and you'll like a lot of the music because it's like rock, and then they have a lot of like. They shit on a lot of like the the boy band type music because you know the way it is with like boy band type. They get that lovey dovey like
very generic, simple lyrics and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's got the thing is a lot of the girls like it, and they a lot. But you look at like rock, what's actually good, like unbiasedly good music. That's what they're going for in it. But even if you're an amazing artist, it's possible you never make it until you die. So it's really good. I think that it has a lot of really good morals, and it's very relatable because it's based on reality. It's not like, I mean, obviously it's an anime, but it's very slice of life storytelling, and You should watch it, man. It's got some insanely good music. And the English voice acting is super good. Like I haven't even watched it in Japan yet. I just watched it in English.
No, you were watching the other isekai anime.
There's the spider one, and and the Mushoku Tensei.
Yeah, that one.
It airs every Sunday. I freaking love that anime. Cause like, have you heard about Redo of the Healer?
Yeah, I tagged you in that article where people were talking about like how was it the guy or the girl that got raped?
It's the guy. It's basically the main character. He has the ability to heal out of all the main. Like basically, there's like a lot of main heroes like attack and then or warrior tank and basically when they find him he's a healer but they realize that he's actually useless because they don't need heals because they have potions and whatnot. So in the end they turn him into like a slave and they abuse him and they rape him. everything really bad. And then when he at towards the end of that his storyline he or that the ending first chapter he becomes immune to a lot of the drugs that they made him addicted to. And then he uses his powers to defeat the final boss. And then the final boss grants him a wish. And what his wish is to go back in time before he became a hero so that he can get revenge on everybody that did him wrong.
Oh, okay.
And then that's why there's a lot of the sexual bad stuff that happens. And it goes down to a really dark route. And I quit reading after. And then I just, dude, the anime's bad. It's just bad. Don't watch the anime.
I only wanted to get into watching it because of all the controversy that it was bringing up.
It's a lot of controversy. It's like we said earlier, dude. The only reason why it's popular is because there's so much controversy. But dude, the anime is just not good. It's
I'm trying to make time to watch that isekai one you showed me. I know from that clip you sent me that was some really good fight scenes.
Well, right so basically, We Do With the Healer is a really bad way of handling sexual morality and all that rape and stuff. But Mushoku Tensei, it's a joke. It's hilarious. You saw the first episode, right?
Yeah, like he has an adult mind already as a kid.
Yeah, and his dad is just railing his mom in the next door because the building. It's hilarious. But the thing is, he's also he's basically a kid who's too cultured. And yeah, the way he thinks of everything, I think it's the perfect isekai in a way because the thing is they don't do anything special. Because it really is an isekai where it's about having a second. Because the whole point of an isekai is to have a second chance at life. So that's usually like the reason why it's so good because they're not doing anything crazy new when you think about it. Because like you look at like Shield Hero. Shield Hero is about the guy who gets framed, and the whole point is that he's playing isekai on hard mode, and then you look at Naruto, he's playing it on easy mode. And then you look at Subaru, he's playing on friggin' insane mode.
Kazuma's got it easy too.
Yeah, and then the Mushoku Tensei, it's basically he's playing on normal mode. You know, he's pretty OP too, but the thing is they do a really good because they take it from a very slow pace where he's just learning. He's learning how to do everything step by step. They're explaining how magic works and how he has to actually train and build up his mana storage and how there's certain classes of warriors and magic. Like he's good at magic, but his swordsmanship is just pretty trash, even though his dad's super good. And then there's girls that he just really likes along the way.
There was this other anime series that I was trying to look up just now. I forgot what it's called. It's that girl with like the blue and yellow eye. You know what I'm talking about? It's like a psychological thriller.
Are you talking about Chinubyu?
I don't know. Let me see if I can share the screen here. Let's see. Anime blue yellow eye girl.
You mean this anime?
No, not that one. She's like in a raincoat. Now it makes it look like we're looking at hentai.
Hopefully that you don't run into hentai.
Anime.
This Psychopath is pretty good. Steins Gate.
Not Steins Gate. This one. I don't
Oh,
know.
that one's pretty new. I haven't gotten to that one yet.
Yeah, I forgot what this is called, but Wonder Egg right there. Here we go.
Yeah, I heard about that. I just haven't got to that one yet.
So Wonder Egg. I've been seeing like this on Facebook, like just the animation, and it doesn't look too bad. Apparently, it's like a psychological thriller. I was trying to watch the first episode, but I fell asleep because I wasn't really in the mood to watch anything new at the point. But yeah, that's what I've been trying to get into. Like, since moving on from like shonen to like rom-coms and different genre anime, I've been kind of like stepping away from a lot of shonen stuff.
Well, that's what happened. The thing about people tend to think that shonen shonen's obviously the most popular, but the thing is there's so many good genres out there.
I got to catch up on freaking Jujutsu Kaisen though. I know that the second half is like really good right now.
The last episode or the second to last, the last week's episode, dude, it was freaking
like,
good.
Goju was like going OP on everyone.
I think there's like 2 or 3 episodes that there's some of the earlier. I think there's like 4 episodes that I thought were pretty bad. Like the animations were kind of stale when the main guy, I don't remember their names.
Itadori
Was fighting the muscle guy.
Yeah.
That first fight, I thought the animation was pretty lacking. Until they got to the river scene where the sword girl was fighting. They're fighting in the river. The animation was pretty lit in that one. It's weird because I think at some points they get a little bit lazy with their animations, but then when they get to some of the good fights, they go all out.
I think Mappa does that on purpose because they're like, all right, we're gonna save our budget for this episode here that's gonna come out, and so we're gonna make this episode.
It's just weird. I find that super weird. Like it's just not as consistent.
No, but speaking of Mappa, man, like what they're doing with Attack on Titan, what do you think so far? I even got our cousin Bobby to read the manga.
I like the manga better just because it feels more consistent art wise. Because I don't think the art's bad. It still looks different, a little bit too different. Mikasa looks weird because I don't think they even ever explain how she got her hair getting shorter. Because I remember that the artist he said that during training that her hair got cut, but they never really showed it in the manga. So he just told somebody that happened, but her hair got shorter and she looked. The first time you see Mikasa in the the first time you see her, dude, she looks weird. Like
she looked like those old '90s anime characters.
And it's like I don't mind the 3D. Like the Titans look weird. I mean the Titans look good, but I think having all the characters in 3D was just weird because you go back and watch season 1, dude, it looks so good.
Season 1 had the best animation.
When they just have everything in 3D, but they're still in 2D.
Yeah.
But with this, I don't want to say they're over relying on 3D, but they kind of are. It's not bad though. Like I don't want because I'm not a hater. I think overall they're doing a pretty good job. It's just my issue is just like I really like consistency, and if you go straight from season 3, the end of season 3, which was hella good. Season 3 was so good, and then if you go straight into season 4, it's gonna feel so weird.
Yeah, and with the time skip too, it does feel like it's a completely different anime too. Mm-hmm. Like you switch studios, you do time skip, and it's the last season. It's like, what the hell am I watching now?
That's my issue with sometimes because they did this in Code Geass second season, where you get thrown into like a story plot that you have no idea what's going on, but they explain it later, which makes sense. But that's just. It's not bad. It's just whatever. It's just weird, but it just throws off a lot of the consistency, and especially this is a huge time skip. Like they actually like the last few episodes is literally just going back and explaining what happened. Yeah,
they literally just spent like backstory and stuff like that. But with Attack on Titan, I feel like with it being like shorter though, like 16 episodes for this first half. What do you think of that, man? Like I felt like that's just kind of like rushing the series. It's like pulling a Game of Thrones type of shit.
Yes, no. I think it's hard for them to. Oh no! It's because we're getting 3 movies. I think.
Is it movies? Is that what it is? Because I've been saying like it's been rumored, but I didn't want to confirm it.
That's what it's still rumored, but from what I've heard, is the reason why it's 16 episodes is because we're most likely getting 1 to 3 movies or 2 to 3 movies.
If that's the case for like the final arc, I would not mind.
Dude, there's no way they're gonna finish everything in 16 episodes. There's absolutely
no, I know, it's impossible. But like, I don't mind. If that was the case, then I don't mind it being like that.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's the most plausible scenario.
And plus, with Attack on Titan ending, like, why not end it with the trilogy movie or something? Like, why not? You're gonna draw in so many fucking people buying movie tickets and stuff.
Yeah.
I think they saw the money with Demon Slayer. Like we need to end this shit with movies.
Theaters need to open up so I can go drive and watch. Dude, because there's like a theater like 20 minutes away from me, I will watch that shit like the Demon Slayer. I will watch it like 50 times or 5 times. A lot.
I haven't really been paying attention to theaters here in Michigan. It's just like I don't know when this Demon Slayer movie is going to drop, dude. It's already the end of February, and it hasn't even been released yet.
Yeah, well, and COVID still hit a lot of theaters too, so it's.
But man, so this has been quite the episode, man. Again, thank you for doing this. And we talked about Demon Slayer and a lot of different topics, but stay tuned because again, I only wanted to do this episode to wrap up Demon Slayer since the manga has officially ended last year. We waited almost a whole year to finally start to do a second one. But if you are still interested in to what we had to say and you've made it this far, please tune in and like, share, and subscribe to Spoiler Force Podcast, because when Moang comes back on again to the podcast, we will be talking about Rent a Girlfriend, and I cannot wait to when we talk about it because I love this series. I don't care what people got to say. I am infatuated with Rent a Girlfriend right now. Sumi-chan is my favorite character. And yeah, I cannot wait.
You could also read Domestic Girlfriend, the manga.
I know you've been trying to get me to read that one too.
Yeah, if you guys really enjoyed Rent a Girlfriend manga, it's like the genre itself. Like I really enjoy it. Like I think the first manga I read was called A Town Where I Used to Live. Because then I've been into the romance manga genre since high school. Because literally in high school, all we did was use proxy websites and read manga.
That takes me back, using proxies to go on like MySpace and stuff.
Yeah.
I still remember one of the only memorable proxies I remember was K Proxy. Mm-hmm. That was one of the memorable ones I used.
I remember it was just change every week because our school would try to block every single one.
Yeah.
School we would get new ones every time.
All right, I know that's what that's what it was for us too. Like every other week, it'd be like, oh, don't use K Proxy anymore. They blocked it. You got to use this proxy.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. But again, man, thank you, Moang, for doing this, dude. I can't wait to have you back on again. I'm glad you're doing better too, and definitely. To have you back on the podcast soon. I can't wait. And so, yeah, for the listeners, please stay tuned. I know that, by the time this episode is up, hopefully episodes 81, 82, 83 are uploaded too. I at this point of recording, I still have not done any editing and stuff like that. So hopefully by the time when this episode is up, everything else will be hopefully back to normal. And then I'll be going back with the live episodes. But until then, please continue the support. Thank you guys, and have a great day. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow, like, share, subscribe, and rate Spoiler Force Podcast. If you have any guest recommendations, comments, questions, concerns, or criticism, you can email me at rickyvang92@gmail.com or message me online on any of my social media platforms. Want to listen to more pop culture themed podcasts? Then check out the Epic Sewers Podcast Network. There are shows like the Epic Tales from the Sewers, the Comic Watcher Show, What's in My Head Podcast, and Spoiler Force Podcast. Make sure to follow us each on social media and find us on any major podcasting platform. Thank you for the support.